Hello, everyone. I am dwangoAC. Welcome to TASGiving 2021. Thank you for your patience while we worked through the last of the technical challenges. There will be more, I'm sure. I want to thank the technical team right up front, especially CompuCat and Sinewave and the Axeman. I'm sorry. Well, yes, the Axeman, the Moss, the everybody, Media Magnet, Illy. There's a whole crew of people. We are so thankful for everyone here. I'm dropping names like crazy, but with me on the line, I believe I have Taters and TASGiving83. They're waving at me.
Hey everyone, I'm Taters, the organizer of the event this year.
Yes, Taters has absolutely stepped up. He has been putting in a ton of effort to get things arranged. TASGiving83 is also my heir apparent. If I'm ever hit by a bus, he'll take over at a GDQ. So he's an awesome person to... Yes, he exists.
A backup for Dwango's personality.
I'm so glad to have everyone here. This is a Herculean effort. First of all, setting up the studio, setting up everything going on here. Just so much effort went into this. There's a massive effort both online and on-site to make this event happen. And we're here for a benefit for National Alliance on Mental Illness. NAMI is a charity I love working with. It's a great organization. This is our second year working with them, and just want to do the best we can despite the challenges of the pandemic. Okay, I'm going to hand it over to Taters. What interesting things do we have in store for our viewers today?
Oh my, Dwango, I am absolutely excited for this. But the first thing I want to do is talk about the staff that has provided this stream this year. We went from last year, which was pretty much at last minute, to an event this year that has over 100 volunteers helping us. And real quickly, just so that somebody can get an idea of the scale of this, we have 29 runners, 9 commentators, 18 hosts, 18 staff, 5 people on site, 12 tech people in general, 2 people on the website management, 3 on submissions, 4 on the various visuals that you'll see throughout the event, 2 on donations, and 1 poor person who had to handle scheduling this whole thing. And we are forever in their debt. There is no possibility that this event could have ever gone on without these people and their absolute dedication to making sure that this event kicks off and that NAMI gets some good donations this year. But to the schedule, we have so many fantastic runs this year, and I'm only going to talk about a couple of my favorite, and I'm going to pass it to Ty Kevin because I know he's got a couple as well, but I am really looking forward to seeing the Factorio run. I'm a huge Factorio fan, and I've lost many hours of my life and very nearly a relationship over it, so it's quite a game for me, and hopefully it doesn't kick me back in there. What about you, Ty Kevin? What I know that you got some runs that you're going to do this day, but what are
that's
you
pretty cool. There's
to?
a Factorio Link to the Past multi-world thing going on. I also am familiar with the Factorio Kerbal Space Program mod. That would be a pretty funny inclusion in the marathon if we had anybody who linked that up. But I do love Factorio as well. I'm always a big fan of seeing the classics like Super Mario 64, Super Mario Bros. 3, RTA versus TAS. Those are always great to see. Dragon Warrior, I watched Dragon Warrior a couple times in person at GDQs, and anytime I see a Dragon Warrior TAS, I'm like, that's so great, because it's very similar to how we do Pokemon TASs, mapping out huge sequences of things. And then yeah, there's a ton of Mario. It's Mario City this TASGiving. We've got Super Mario 3D World, Super Mario Worlds, Super Mario 64 DS, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, which, by the way, that is just one of the better TASs ever. If you guys haven't seen that one, everything looks like it's going fine, and then suddenly the screen turns into a pile of glitches.
You know, speaking of Mario, we have a really special one coming out this event. Just released, I want to say this week. The Super Mario 64 16-star TAS is going to be read by CrackHex.
CrackHex is the commentator who's going to show up. I believe many people contributed to it in the background as well.
Absolutely, yes. And they're going to be giving us a little bit of the history as well as part of it, so that you can understand sort of the progression almost in a summoning salt style.
I'm really thrilled with that run in particular. There's so much good Mario content at this particular event, and I have to thank everyone who submitted runs and who wanted to be a part of this event. It's just a nice fusion of tool-assisted speedrun content, some awesome RTA runs, and even a couple of showcases. I think we have a pretty interesting lineup for Final Fantasy X, perhaps?
From my recollection, we do, and in fact, we even added about 40 minutes of content to that one. So hopefully, we're going to have a lot of very good FFX content this year. Speaking of, right after Final Fantasy X is Dreadwing Night running Tetris 99 RTA, the 999 marathon. I personally have never actually seen a win on Tetris 99, so I don't even know what that looks like, let alone seeing 45 minutes straight of somebody actually winning. What about you guys? If you,
Taters
I know
has
some of
actually
you
been
back
secretly
there.
living in a cave for the last 2 years.
No, I mean I'm
Does not know of
incapable
any
of
new
winning.
games.
It's hard to win that one. So I
Yeah,
have to say that that one is going to be a lot of fun. I could not possibly play Tetris like that. I now, Illy is in our midst somewhere. I don't know where he went. He was around here a while ago. I saw him at some point. Anyway, Illy is also a Tetris 99 player, but he had this weird quirk of playing it, I believe, either upside down or reverse. I think it was upside down. I think he actually took a whole projector and flipped it upside down and was playing Tetris 99.
I saw that live, and I hear that laugh.
What? That was, oh my gosh, here's an Illy right here.
That was a secret between us, and now you're telling all Twitch, man.
I guess it's not so much of a secret anymore. Sorry, man. I know. So we have some great Tetris action coming up. What else is on the schedule of interest to you guys?
Well, I'll tell you what, CZR Drums is coming out for the last run of the event to do a Breath of the Wild RTA drum percent, and another game I can't beat on my own, let alone on a set of drums.
He's actually going to play
love
Breath of the
alternate
Wild with drums.
Controller speedrunning, so that's going to be a fun one to watch myself.
Ah, man, I can't imagine. I can barely speedrun Breath of the Wild as it is. If he's doing it with drums, that's going to be incredible. Man, awesome. Hey, do we have any fun donation incentives for this particular event? Since, of course, we're here to help raise money for NAMI, what are people going to be donating for?
So I know that at least one of our donation incentives are going to be to see if we can maybe get you to do a run there, Mr. Dwango.
Oh, yes?
Yes, and I apologize. My browser just crashed, so I lost all of the other donation incentives.
Well, donations.
So
we
somebody
have them.
stall for me.
We're probably going to be adding more donations as the event goes on. Whatever you guys have in mind, we'll work with it. I have a personal goal of what I want to see us get to. I'd love to be able to at least match what we did last year. But in general, we're just here to do the best we can. We're not going to stress. This is an awesome cause, so please donate if you feel led. I will be donating any subscription revenue from this month to NAMI, so feel free to subscribe if that suits you. We'll have bits headed that way through various different means, especially with any crowd control runs. Does anyone perhaps want to talk about the crowd control runs coming up?
Oh yes, the Axeman doing a Crystal. I can never say this right. Crystallis randomizer rando. I am super excited to see him attempt that one, especially knowing the amount of effort that he's been putting into it beforehand. Dwango, I mean, I know you're there with him. I'm sure the excitement from his side is quite high as well.
I think I saw him around here a second ago, but yeah, he's here.
Do I want to know what a randomizer rando is, or is it just a randomizer?
I think it's just a rando.
Okay, I was like, well, with crowd control.
It's twice as random.
It's all a random.
We've actually run it
has
through the randomizer
two
17
random.
times.
17 times. Okay.
It's random to the power of 2. There you go.
I see. I see.
That's fun.
Another thing I'm super excited
It'll also be nice to
is-
see.
and maybe this one's just me. Oh. Go
What's
ahead.
up, Taters? It'll be nice to see TGH doing Link's Awakening DX RTA since we showed that in TAS at one of the recent Games Done Quick events.
Suddenly there's a TASBot behind me.
I am excited. Oh yes, I see this. It appears that you have been invaded by a small being.
Yes.
Dwango, is that the new TASBot that might be sitting there over your shoulder?
That is the new TASBot. A lot of credit to a huge number of folks that helped with that. Conflurpin, Blaster Mac, Dr. D2K9 did the final printing. A bunch of other people were involved in the original art. Freem did the original face. A huge number of people were involved in making this all happen. We'll be pulling out TASBot again in the future, but I'm a little bit worried that he's a little overeager. Anyway.
TASBot is going down an elevator.
Apparently. For anyone watching right now, thank you for being here.
I have to admit,
this is awesome.
Absolutely. And one of the things I have to admit, and honestly, this is the amount of people that have come together to do this event 2 years in a row now and have dealt with the absolute insanity. Just, I can't express or ever even begin to start talking about how proud I am of the people that have come forth, the community that exists for this organization and for these runs that we do. I've worked with communities in the past, and none of them have ever been even remotely as just accepting and driven as the people here who are truly passionate. And it really fills a spot inside this potatoy heart of mine. And thank you to everybody who's watching. Thank you everybody who's worked for this. I am staggered to even talk about the efforts that are put forth here.
I have to mirror that. I started doing stuff with tool-assisted speedruns at Games Done Quick events all the way back in 2013, and those were very, very different times. It's so incredible to be at this place where we're such a large but yet tight-knit community at the same time. It's amazing that we've been able to do so many things over so many years to the point that we've now helped raise over $1 million for various different charities at different events like Games Done Quick and ESA and Calathon, MagFast, all of these amazing events. But being able to do our own event is very special to me. This is our second year of doing an event like this. We'd previously done things like Desert Tesla Charity Drive and helped run the MagWest Go 2019 event. But this one is by far the largest production we've done. We were in a full studio here. This is insane. I never would have predicted that we would be here. And really the honest truth is there is no way that I could have even remotely started on this without the help of a huge number of people. The list of people who have helped get the community to this point is so long that if I started saying all of their names, it would in fact be the marathon itself.
You'd be going into next week.
Yeah, exactly. Serious thanks to my entire admin team, moderator team, past and present, all of the folks that have built replay devices like Onosaurus and Micro 500 before him and Shrew, all of the folks like Total that helped out in various different capacities, the Moss 3212. And we're here because of a massive number of people who cared and contributed before this point. So thank you to everyone who helped out there.
We truly do stand on the shoulders of giants. Dwango, I got a quick question for you. You did mention a new studio there. Could you show us a little bit of it? I see some really great lighting back there. Is there a way that you can really annoy your tech crew and make them move the camera around a bit?
I could get up and move the camera, but I have a funny feeling they don't want me to. Right now, we are in...
I know they do. I just want to bother them.
Yeah. We are in the initial setup phase for our first run. I don't want to distract the tech team from getting our first run on the schedule, which is VVV being run by InfoTeddy. I want to make sure that the tech crew is able to get all of the audio routed for that and everything set up. We're still in the final stages of getting overlays finalized and perfected for that run. There's always things that are a little later than you'd like. So I don't want to distract them with a studio tour, but maybe we'll do it later. We have about 1,000 square feet here.
Okay.
We have plenty of setups for 2, 3, possibly more runs, player runs. I'm really happy with the amount of equipment we've been able to get set up. We have multiple OSSC and DVDO iScan upscaling paths. We have capture methods that are way better than anything we've had in the past. It's been awesome. It's really, really cool seeing all of this hardware come together in one room. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I want to thank everybody working on that setup in person too, especially with the... I want to make sure to
Go on,
thank
Ty Kevin,
everyone
my
for
bad.
that work in person too, because we needed that big in-person getting together for the setup this year too. So that's been pretty fun watching, and I'm excited for all the outcome that we're going to get with this fundraising for NAMI and the enjoyment over the weekend.
Absolutely. I don't have chat in front of me, so I can't see what anyone is saying. But for those tuning in, thank you so much. This is the beginning of 48 hours, or give or take, of content, depending on how the schedule slips one way or the other. By all means, tune into your favorite runs. If you missed something, catch up on it later. I have lost my schedule. But yeah, we have some amazing content.
Chat is having
I
a
will
great time
say,
right now.
if you're looking for something to watch, there's some extra special stuff from one of the current hosts of the opening show on Sunday morning.
Ooh, interesting. We do have a couple of things that I want to highlight in particular. So first of all, if you have not noticed, we do have TASGiving.org up and running. I believe the donation link is finally live. I think. I will check with my tech team on that. But I believe the donations are now live. We'll do a couple trials of that to make sure things are actually going through right. But it's definitely great being
They do
able
appear to be up.
to come here. What's that?
They do appear to be up. Everything is wonderful, and I'm able and totally willing to start donating about my beliefs on pineapple on pizza, which, as you are aware, are very strong.
Oh gosh. Okay. This is a war, folks. We basically almost need to make this a donation incentive for our last meal.
We should just have a slider at the bottom right, showing who's winning the pineapple on pizza. Which I have to interject, no vegetables.
No vegetables? Okay. I think we might be able to make a donation incentive out of this. We might towards the end of the event, set up a donation incentive for whether people want us to eat or not eat pineapple on our pizza, irregardless of any other ingredients.
I'll tell you what, just for NAMI and the amount of amazing work that they do, I am willing to set my own, let's be honest, correctness aside. And if pineapple on pizza wins, I will sit live on stream and eat a piece of pineapple pizza.
But Taters, don't you hate pineapple pizza?
Absolutely. I don't hate it. It's just incorrect. There is no reality in which pineapple should ever go on pizza. And
just
in
doesn't
fact,
add
I don't
anything
quite know
to
who
the
made
pizza.
that, but it only
I'm being
subtracts.
told that my tech team is informing me that we are both wrong, which is hilarious.
And you
How
can
can we
see
both be wrong?
the vastness of the gulf in this debate here between the tech team and the show hosts currently. We'll have to keep a running tally of all the runners as we do intros through the event of what the breakdown is within the runners.
This is so funny. There are some people
Oh
trying
yes,
to advocate
absolutely.
for.
Feel free to introduce yourself.
There are some folks trying to advocate for anchovies. For some reason. I see Illy-
Anchovies are good in Caesar dressing.
Hey, you know what? A little bit of saltiness. I can work with that.
anchovies. Oh my gosh. Illy has spoken.
I think we can all agree that mushrooms are fantastic as well, though. Let's be honest. Are we here for a charity event for NAMI, or are we just trying to look for lunch? Come on, guys. Let's
I think I'm just
let's bring it
hungry.
back a little bit. Let's
I
talk
think,
about
I
some
think
of
we
the
need
some of the
dinner.
stuff
We
got
should
going on here.
we should
Yeah,
order
it is.
dinner.
I should order a Cuban. Anyway. So-
Ridiculous. Well, hey, I got a real quick question here.
Yeah.
Ty Kevin, since you've been around now
Yes.
for 2 events, I had a really quick question on you as to what makes you keep wanting to run here. You know, we don't normally get a chance to have a conversation live about just what makes you enjoy this. So go ahead, give some time to yourself there.
The biggest thing for me is preservation of classic games that I feel like have a history in not a history, a place in gaming history. And to me, like, tassing is the greatest way of showing affection for that history, because you really pull apart every detail of a game and show exactly what came together to make that game happen. And there's all sorts of things that you discover in it, like all of the extra quirks with how characters work across different days and their like on and off days and birthdays and all of these weird things in Backyard Baseball that you never would have known unless you had tasked the game. And also things like your click location not mattering. Like you don't really notice that unless you dive deep into the game code and things like this. So I love that preservation and showing the history and love for a game that comes along with tasking. And then when we have these events like this, it's just another layer of awesomeness to that, because you get to show people and talk to people in the chat live about your love for a game.
That's fantastic. Dwango, now you've worked for this event now for 2 years.
Yes.
What do you see sort of developing as we've been working on this? What makes you want to keep giving your time to, let's be honest, the absolute madness that is TASGiving? Because
I've been trying to wonder
we,
about that
we
myself.
can
Like, why do
definitely
I
be a little
keep
bit of a
doing
strain.
this to myself? So I got to be honest. This is utterly exhausting. It's so much effort to build everything out. I do have to say, though, that it's getting a little easier every time. Every time I get a little bit more equipment, I get a little more experience. It is getting easier every time. We're getting a little bit more of a permanent space to work in, which helps. But man, it is a sacrifice. I'm not going to lie. And it's really easy to burn out. I'll be honest. The reason that YouTube only had TASGiving 2020 content on it for most of the year is because I was investing so much time into this that I was burned out on streaming. But that's okay, because this event is more important. I look forward to being able to not only just build out this event the way it is, but future events that might be adjacent. Maybe not just TASGiving, but other things that involve the TAS Videos community, who we're here representing. Well, actually, two of us here are on the ambassador side of TASVideos.org, myself and TyKevin83. We want to promote tool-assisted speedruns.
We should mention in the pre-show.
Yes.
We should mention the new website that is in the works that I have heavily contributed to, which is extremely important. The TAS Videos website I have not been heavily pushing people towards because it doesn't have HTTPS. And finally soon we're going to be able to say this site is a new open source architecture that is completely like publicly visible and has HTTPS support. So we're going to have that soon, and it's going to revitalize the tasking community. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, we did have some site staff changes on the TAS Videos side for a variety of reasons. I'm actually really happy about where things are landing. There's a lot more hope of getting to a modern site with how things are now. There's so much more hope of getting some of the TASBot specific content that had previously not been visible or available on the TAS Videos website. There's definitely some hope of finally getting that content on the website. I'm looking forward to that because we've done some pretty crazy things in the TASBot community. So thank you so much, TyKevin, for your efforts in controlling that
I'll be honest,
site. Go ahead.
The thing I'm most impressed about is HTTPS. I am, I'm a little bit of a security guy myself, and that is just the most exciting thing for me. I get excited over weird things.
It's totally okay. And I should say there's quite a bit of, how do I say this? I want to touch a little bit on some of the history of how we got here, not just this event, but how we even got TAS Videos to the place it's at. I'm really fascinated about the specific run we started with, which was the Morimoto run of SMB3. It's not that necessarily we started with it, but it's the one that kind of kicked off tool-assisted speedruns being in the limelight. It was this old video released before the days of YouTube, all the way back in 2003, primordial soup days of the internet. No YouTube. I can't imagine a world without YouTube. It was released with no content in English about what was in it. And you had Mario getting 99 lives and taking close calls against piranha plants, all kinds of crazy stuff. And no one knew what was going on. They didn't know it was being done in an emulator. They didn't know that it was a tool-assisted speedrun. They didn't even know what TASs were. But it was pretty clear to the Speed Demos Archive and other real-time runner communities that this thing was wrong. It was fraudulent. There was something wrong with this. And Biscuit came in and started at the time NES videos, which ultimately became TAS videos, as a place to store these tool-assisted speedruns and document and properly have attribution saying this is a TAS, this is a tool-assisted speedrun, it's not human effort. We did a lot of... I'm being mocked for my hand gestures. My on-site tech team loves to mock me. TAS Videos as a whole has done a lot of effort to make sure that runs are properly labeled so that things that are not human effort aren't misattributed, mislabeled. Also, just to get a place to bring together tool-assisted speedruns. And TAS Videos at this point is the preeminent location for tool-assisted speedruns pretty much everywhere. There's Nico Video out of Japan, but for the most part, TAS Videos is the home of tool-assisted speedruns. And quite honestly, TASBot, the act of playing back tool-assisted speedruns on real hardware at live events with a mascot, would not be here without all of the effort that went in over the course of almost 2 decades at this point of tool-assisted speedrun creation. So seriously awesome amounts of effort went into the various runs that we're not necessarily showing today, but that are on the site. So if you want to see more tool-assisted speedrun content, head on over to tasvideos.org. The vast majority of it is not content that's being played on real hardware like what we've typically done at Games Done Quick events, but that doesn't mean that it's bad. There's some really, really awesome stuff. And you're going to see a lot of TAS content that may or may not be possibly viable on real-time or on real consoles. We're going to show a few TAS runs that are very unique. There's also a completely different type of task that I want to briefly touch on. It's going to take a little bit of time to talk through this, but work with me here. The classic expectation of what a tool-assisted speedrun is, at this point, is a run made in an emulator with save states and some kind of way to pause the action. I really, really want to talk about what Coder Wilson has done to totally break the mold on what a TAS actually is. Back in the day when Morimoto did his original tool-assisted speedrun of Super Mario Bros. 3, he was using Fantasia with save states, but the only tool he had in his toolbox was slow motion. So he did the whole thing not by using frame advance, where you pause the emulator, you hold down the buttons you want to press, and frame advance. He did it by, back in the day, by just pausing the game, playing it in slow motion as best as he could, pausing it again, making a save. If he messed up, he'd go back and load his save state and repeat the process. We now do this with frame advance, but because we've had these tools of frame advance and being able to pause at any point, being able to safely rewind at any point, we've had all of these tools. We've become spoiled, and the concept of what a tool-assisted speedrun became very restricted and very specific and technical. It was frame advance and frame perfect and completely perfect play. But the reality is tool-assisted speedruns, by their very nature, are speedruns where you're using tools to assist a human. And I've always wanted to see more stuff out of a couple of different communities. Folks doing novel and unique things, folks doing tool-assisted content for the purposes of helping differently abled folks. I'm still being mocked for hand gestures over here. Differently abled gamers being able to play a game they wouldn't otherwise be able to play. And I love seeing those kinds of... There's just people making hand gestures everywhere. Fortunately, none of them seem to be crude. But not just the differently abled community, but also taking some of those same concepts and exploring them in different ways. I like the idea of a category where people are limited in what they can do. I just lost my video. That's okay. Oh, it's back, and now I'm just looking at myself. Okay. Well, long and the short of it, I love the... there's stuff happening everywhere. I love the ability to push the envelope for what a tool-assisted speedrun is. And Coder Wilson has really, really pushed tool-assisted in an entirely different direction. He's using what I would best describe as virtual intelligence. It's not exactly artificial intelligence. It's virtual intelligence, where instead of playing the game perfectly with ahead of time with tools that are helping a human, he's written tools to assist the speedrunning process do everything on its own, on their own. It's a virtual intelligence that makes decisions on what the game is doing to decide what to do next. This is going to be a Final Fantasy X speedrun, the likes of which you've never seen. The ability of using tool-assisted... Anyway, the ability to use tool-assisted speedrun techniques in this new novel way is going to be really cool. So be sure to check out the Final Fantasy X run. Taters, I can't see you, but it sounded like you wanted to say something else.
No, I'm just enjoying watching the show behind you.
I don't have audio.
It's almost like a show within a show. Got a little bit of Inception going on here.
There is some Inception going on. Oh, man. I'm going to... Yeah.
Illy better not be having any fun. I believe he's not allowed to.
Do you also want to mention...
Mention what?
Do you also want to mention runs.tas.bot briefly? Do you remember that one, Dwango?
I definitely remember runs.tas.bot, but you are the most qualified person to talk about this.
So, runs.tas.bot is a site you can go to right now. It should not be down, unlike the demo site for the rest of TAS videos. I'll get a link for that in the chat here. So runs.tas.bot, the idea here is, especially for the Game Boy and Game Boy Color games, you can download pre-dumped TASs here for anything that we've verified and go and verify it yourself. So if you have a Game Boy player and GBI, you already have everything you need to verify these TASs, as long as you have a copy of the game as well, of course. So you can just go here, download the dumped data for any of these Game Boy or Game Boy Color TASs, and if you're a speedrunner and you have GBI in the game, you can watch it back live yourself. The idea here was we used to have all this stuff over on tasvideos.org, but didn't have a good system for collating the dumped inputs, and now with runs.tas.bot we have a good static archive, and it's very fast because it runs just a little static site that I wrote. So we're working on getting NES data also into this system, so that if you work with any of the usual TAS TM32 replay devices, that you could also download a lot of the NES runs, but we haven't finished that up yet.
I am so looking forward to more of that content. I'm really glad for runs.tas.bot existing. For the longest time, we just didn't have the content we needed, or didn't really have a place to hold the specific files that we need for real time or for real console playback with replay devices. So, serious credit to TykeHeaven83 for making that happen. By the way, I noticed in chat, and sorry, I pulled out to check. It looks like a fair number of people have subscribed with Prime. This is a great place to use your Prime sub. I'll be donating any subscription money from this month on to NAMI. So anything that comes in, I'll be donating at the end of the event. Thank you so much for those subscriptions. I'm not just donating the amount that Twitch gives me. I'm going to be donating the full amount. So thank you so much for everyone who is subscribing through any means. Really, really appreciate it. So what else do we have on the docket?
I am absolutely happy. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking over us. So, TykeHeaven,
if you guys
you're familiar
want to
with
know,
the Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga
Yep.
run.
yes.
That's actually one of my all-time
Sorry,
favorite
the delay
games.
is getting really
Can
bad.
you
with
tell me a
this,
little bit
back
about
and
it?
forth.
I mean, give me... I'm sorry. Could you tell me just a little bit about it?
Yes.
Maybe what you know? Don't spoil anything.
As much as I know, I don't know the technical details of the TAS, but the idea basically is the game has it's much more story driven than a Mario games. It's supposed to be an RPG based Mario game, right? And the first couple chapters of the story are programmed pretty well. All of the usual barriers work and prevent you from going out of bounds, but a lot of the end game content is very physically close to the early game content, and you can out of bounds to get around things very easily. This is a common trope across the Mario RPG games. Like a lot of DS games have similar issues, but this one, going out of bounds like that causes a lot of glitching because it doesn't expect you to be in these areas yet. And so you end up having a ton of glitched effects on screen as you're progressing through the end game way faster than you're intended to be able to.
These sound really, really fun.
I remember when I got that game when it came out,
I have no experience.
and it was just one of the absolute best things I had ever played. Dwango, I highly recommend it. If you want, I will ship you a card of it. It is just that good of a game.
Oh, think about it. All right. Well, I've been informed that we're about 5 minutes.
I know you have a lot
out.
of time. So much time.
Yeah, I know I have. Well, now that TASGiving is here, once I get past it, I might actually take a little bit to play games on stream. That would be fun. When's the last time I played a video game on stream? It's been a while. Actually, when's the last time I played a video game? Yeah, it's been a while, huh? Anyway, I have been informed we're about 7 minutes out, so I think we might be doing a tech break screen for a little bit while we transition everything over. Serious credit to the folks at the last minute fixing
Dwango over here pulling a Windows taskbar with the stream start time.
I know, right? It is the Windows start time. It's a taskbar. Task time. Yeah, okay, we'll be done in 20 seconds. No, it's going to be 7 hours. Oh, yeah, it will actually be done in 3 minutes. Yeah, it's actually going to be 3 minutes. So so I'd like to specifically thank Sinewave, the Moss 3212, CompuCat, Media Magnet, Illy. Oh gosh, who else is involved? Dreadwing Knight. Everyone who's actively on the ground right now, fighting through a last-minute challenge. There was an issue with our overlays that didn't happen the way we expected. They are fervently working, but we will make this happen. I think, unless there's anything else, Taters, is there anything else you want to talk about?
Absolutely not. I am excited. I'll be your first host here for the next 3 hours over the next few runs. So get those donations in, and for the please make me talk about how much I love pineapple on pizza. That would be humorous to me.
And what runs do we have during your first host shift? What do people have to look forward to
at
today?
least VB, and Super Mario 3D World. As well, Super Mario World, Super Mario Brothers TAS, the SMB one inside Super Mario World. There's a Prince of Persia TAS. There's a Klonoa, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, which I will be sitting waiting for on the edge of my seat, as well as a Super Mario 64 DS TAS that'll be jumpless. Those and more will be coming up today.
Awesome. Well, I think Media Magnet is acting as our DJ today, more or less, kind of, in some sense. So we're going to listen to some awesome tunes while we get those final setup aspects taken care of. We're closing in on just finally getting the up next text on screen, and just want to say thank you to everyone for all of the effort that has gone into this part of the run. Man, every time you do a marathon like this, especially if you're setting up something new like this, getting the first launch going is so difficult. So yeah, I've been stalling a little bit, but that's okay. It's been an awesome experience getting this ready for you guys. I can't wait to show you what we have in store over the course of the next 2 days. Again, this is for Nami. You can head on over to tasgiving.org and donate at any time. We'll start reading off donations once we get all of that on screen. I'd like to thank Taters and TyKevin83 for being my co-pilots here on the pre-show, if that's what you want to call it, more like the stall show. And hey, I'm just calling it what it is. And seriously, Taters, thank you so much for all of your organizational effort. This event would not have happened without you. Thank you so much, man.
I appreciate it.